of goes back to the brilliant point that was made before there around knowing like what, you know, you might not know where the community should go, but in the past I grew a really big community to like 4,000 members, and we were really famous for it, and we were running events for like sometimes £15 an event, sometimes £25. And I got to the point of it where I just realized I hadn't really made a decision about what it was there for. It wasn't really, everybody thought that it was feeding my consultancy business and it was building my brand, but it wasn't moving into a commercial model. So it wasn't like a lead funnel, like you come to this event and then you sign up for this and then you become whatever. So that was a really good point. And I think going back to what you should create and how you should create it, I think you need to look at your own skill sets. It's really, it is an art, like, you know, it isn't, I think it's one of those things where if somebody came to one of us and said, this is the community I'm trying to build, I think like definitely, you know, Lily and I would be like probably be able to come up with an awesome plan for you in like a day, because it's very bespoke. It's for every single challenge, it's every single community, and it's understanding them. But into your point of should it be events, I mean, events obviously now are basically a dead industry, which is
Yeah.
just crazy to think about. And I had a call just before this with a woman in Brazil who is working on designing some really unique event concepts. And I think what events really are now is thinking about how can we gather human beings around goals or objectives, and that might, an objective might be to build your business, it might be to, you know, provide a support line to domestic abuse, you know, it could be anything. But what I'm really interested in is conducting experiments in human connection. You'll know this from the Warrior Women community and having been to the Think Sprint event, which is how can we reinvent the event model? So to give some practical insight on this, I often show a picture of an audience which has a guy standing at the front talking to like 2,000 people. And I look at that picture and I say, what a wasted opportunity. Because if you actually turned it the other way and you got those 2,000 people to come together around what is the future of Bitcoin, for example, and you found a way to bring them all together to co-design and think around that, you're likely to get a much richer, better answer than you have listening to like one person on the stage. So I think what we need to do when we're building a tribe is say, where are the opportunities to build more human connections in interesting ways? And I'm sure like if you've never done this before, you're probably like, oh my God, I mean, I always fall into comparison. So I almost hate it when you listen to people on webinars, you think, oh my God, I don't even know how to send out an email to a group of people. And there's this woman saying, need to think about, you know, human connection. But the very, very unhelpful way of describing this is something that I talk about a lot, which is I really believe that every single person has a gift that they know that they had like 3 or 4 years old. And if you can identify what that is, let's say, for example, you really love languages and you really love bringing different people together and you've traveled around the world for a lot, you can start from that perspective of like, that's a passion point for me. And I'm really interested in like how I could bring somebody from Brazil and someone from France together because I'm really interested in that. So you can start from a place of like your own passion. I think that's when communities grow really, really well, opposed to like, so mine is that I'm an empath and I'm highly sensitive. So that's how I've built my community, is those values of vulnerability. So sometimes it's not just the business opportunity, it's like, where is your human connection built just as who you are anyway?